Okay, today I want to share with you some of my experiences with various different types of garages that are around. These are experiences I've learned over the years. The first one I want to talk about is the main dealer. Now, I have been to many main dealers because some people like to have a second opinion, and that's good. They're entitled to a second opinion, and it's a very wise move for them. Generally speaking, I find that 99 perfect. 99% of these cars are perfect, and anything that I do find wrong with them, that they're very happy to sort out. But generally speaking, I find little or nothing wrong with cars from main dealers. Now, what happens to the cars that are traded into main dealers that they're not happy about? Well, they sell these cars on, and they're sold to in the trade to garages, right? So the next one down, they're sold. These cars are sold to garages, or as you would know them, car sales places, car sales pitches. So basically, what they're getting in are the rejects from the main dealer that they won't retail. You understand that? These are cars that are rejects from the main dealer. Now, when they come down to here, they obviously drop in value. So say a car was worth €10,000 here, it's now down to maybe 9,000 or 8,000 euro down here because it's now a reject from the main dealer. So this car goes onto a car sales lot. It's a reject from here. It may be a perfectly good car with nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong, but it might have a bit higher mileage, or the history mightn't be right, or you wouldn't know for what reason. Just maybe the main dealer was overstocked on that week. You wouldn't know. But anyway, for whatever reason, these cars are rejects, right? They're second-hand cars. They're rejects from a main dealer. They're not 99% perfect. Now, when I go out to inspect these cars, the cars that come from the main dealer to here, I usually find these cars are about 80 to 90. 80 to 90% perfect, and that's pretty good. I find faults with these cars. Sometimes they're serious, and sometimes they're minor. Usually the garages, if I tell them I find something wrong with it, will put it right. Not always, it depends on the garage and what they paid for the car. If they're tight on price, they won't do the things that the car really needs. For example, front disc brakes. Many of the cars that I go to see have very worn front disc brakes, and I would suggest that they replace the brakes, but no, they won't do it. New discs on most of the modern cars now, they cost between 15 and 25 euro a piece. So there's two of them. That's 50 euro, and they're reluctant to spend 50 euro on the car to put the car right. Now I can't make them do this. I can only recommend they say, no, it's a second-hand car, the brakes are going to last 3 months, it's going to be fine. So now we move on down, so we're still in car sales. We're still with these car sales. And of the main dealer cars that come down, 80 to 90% of them are good with no faults. Now the problem is with the car sales is somebody comes in and there's the trade-in. So now for them to sell these cars, they have to take a trade-in. Now the trade-in is usually people don't change the car, unless they either think something's going to go wrong with the car or something might go wrong with it. But quite a lot of the time there's a reason that the person wants to trade in the car, right? So these trade-ins, now without doubt, they're definitely substandard to the ones that have come in here as a rule, because nobody would want to change their car, right? It has to be it has to be below this one and below this one, the trade-in. So now you've got the trade-in. So the trade-in, now to get the sale on this car, the car garage has to give a good price on the trade-in maybe, right? So now the car that he's taken as a trade-in owes him a lot of money, and now he's chasing his money, okay, with this trade-in. So now, just say for example, he has 50 cars in stock, okay. Now, this one here is a main dealer, that one there is a main dealer, that's a trade-in, main dealer, trade-in, main dealer, main dealer, main dealer, main dealer. Right, so in amongst these good cars, if you want to call them that, are the trade-ins, which are the rejects of the rejects. Okay, you get the picture here. So now I'm finding, that these cars, we're talking about 70% of these cars are fault free that I'm finding. Okay. Now they may have cartel checks with them, and they may have this and they may have that and the other, but one person can wreck a car and another person can keep it perfectly. So only about 70% of these trade-ins of these cars that now make it into the car sales are any good. And then, so what happens when somebody comes in to buy this particular trade-in, this one here, right? So now he has to take another trade-in. So there's another trade-in. So now there's a trade-in of a trade-in, and that one's gone. And this new one, this new trade-in is down here. Right. And this trade-in here is substandard to the other trade-in, which is substandard to that trade-in, which is substandard to that trade-in. Okay? You get the picture here that just because you're buying it from a garage doesn't mean it's a perfect car. So, but the car sales, if the car only has to go for 3 months, it's not a big deal in today's modern cars. They will go for 3 months, most of them will anyway. But the car may be a wreck of a car and fall apart after 3 months, or it might fall apart after 6 months, and you've just paid a lot of money. And maybe you've taken that money out in a loan and you might be paying for it for the next 3 years. So your car is finished after 3 months or 6 months, and you're still paying for it 3 years later. And all the time you're thinking that you're getting a great deal. So that's one of the problems with dealing with a garage, that you're not necessarily getting the best cars. They do have the best cars, you understand? But mixed in among them is trade-ins and trade-ins of trade-ins. Is that what you want? Okay, so we've looked at this idea of garages, and we've looked at the idea of how you could possibly save thousands. So let's take an actual real life example, of which there are hundreds and hundreds on Dundee right now today. Okay, so we take this C4. I've given you the date today. You can check it out for yourself, right? There's a C4 advertised privately for 3,995, and there's one in the garage for 8,500. Okay, so both cars have the same year. They're both 2008. Okay, they both have the same engine. They're two different colours, I have to admit. One is grey and one is black. Okay, but they're the same cars essentially. The mileage is within a few miles of each other, so the mileage difference is insignificant. So the biggest difference here is the price. With this one, you get 3 months warranty. With this one, you could go out and buy another car exactly the same and have two of them. And instead of taking out €300 map-free warranty, you could just buy another car and have it sitting on your driveway in case the first thing never breaks down. I mean, it's really a no-brainer, So how do we get to this situation where this guy is selling this car for 3,995 and this guy is selling the car for 8,500? Well, I think TV3 has a lot to answer for in this. TV3 I think has a lot to answer for this. If you listen to TV3, you know, and you're thinking of buying a used car, basically TV3 was going to tell you you're going to die the next day if you buy a car. It's a really, really dangerous thing to do according to TV3, and death is imminent. So TV3 says do not buy a used car, you will die. 100% chance of you dying the very next day. Your chances of surviving are slim to none. So you then want to go here and pay out this extra 4,500 for this car, where your chances of survival are very strong. Well, you know, really, if you're going to buy into TV3, I just feel sorry for you, you know. I mean, I'm in this business a long time, and yes, there are scams, and yes, they do exist, but they're very few and far between. The result is that this guy here can't sell his car. He really would like to have a sensible price for his car, but he can't get it because the phone doesn't ring, right? Because everybody looks at this car and they think, oh yeah, I'm going to die the next morning if I buy this car. Yeah, if I buy this car, it's going to fail. You know, I won't get to work, family's going to die, my unborn children won't survive, everything is going to happen if I buy this car. Well, again, what can I say? You know, if you're dumb enough to believe that, you shouldn't even be looking at this video, because that car there and that car there are identical except for the price. Now, somebody buying this car, if they spend €70, they can have this car independently checked, and the person buying this car should spend €70 and have that car independently checked as well, in case there is something wrong with it. But you get what I'm saying, like, it's insanity. People are just throwing away money. I mean, I just picked Citroen because that's just happens to be on Done Deal right now. Every single week I see the same thing, week in, week out. BMW's on Done Deal. Very popular car, most popular car on Done Deal, to be honest with you. BMWs, you know, I see them, 05 BMWs, they're asking €4,500, €5,000 for an 05 BMW, right? I go out and inspect these cars, I find lots of faults with BMWs. Now, again, I've seen it where customers go out, and I've gone out to look at cars, BMWs, for 2,500 that have been 100% perfect and bought. You know, so like, it's not just Citroens because they're not popular. Even the most popular car in the country, which is the BMW, to buy second hand, they can be bought for half the price of a garage as well, and still, you know, not have any problems. So this whole thing of buying privately here, buying versus buying from a garage, it has to do with, you know, you saving money. Now, okay, you might go out and look at 2 or 3 Citroen C4s and they might be no good, and you might reject them, and you might have lost, say, 2 hours of time, 3 hours, you might have lost 6 hours of your valuable time to look at these cars to reject them in the first place. But, you know, how long would it take you to repay or earn the 4,500? Would it take more than 6 hours? So the moral of the story here is, shop around, look on Done Deal for the bargains, waste your time if you have to on Done Deal, learn how to sift out the cars, the good cars from the bad cars on Done Deal. Pay me €70 and I'll come out and check the car and give you an independent appraisal on the car. And you've saved 4,500. This can be done on Toyotas and BMWs, Volkswagens, any other car you want to think of, it can be done on. Save thousands. Thank you for watching.